Good morning to everyone joining us for today's apprenticeship webinar. I'm Lenora M. Daly, Associate Director of Manufacturing Programs for the Institute for Workforce Education, a division of St. Augustine College. I will be your moderator for this webinar as well as your presenter. Today, we will be discussing the benefits of apprenticeship programs and pre-apprenticeship programs with the focus on youth apprenticeships. Before we begin, let's go over some procedural items. We will be recording this presentation, and I will be sending out a link to all participants to review the recording or share with your colleagues. All of you, with the exception of the presenters, will be put on mute for the duration of the webinar, but you will be able to ask questions or comment using the chat function in Zoom during the Q&A session. I am pleased to introduce our distinguished panelist. Cherie Speakman is the founder of and CEO of Talent First, a public benefit corp, an Illinois company dedicated to working with employers to expand pathways and opportunities for high school students and working adults, especially in the pharmacy sector. She will be speaking today about high school pre-apprenticeship programs in partnership with Perspective Illinois Tech Math and Science Academy. Co-presenting on youth apprenticeship with Cherie is Julianne Hagley. She is an apprenticeship senior subject matter expert at the Institute for American Apprenticeship. She will be introducing youth apprenticeship programs at Hypertherm. Tom Windolf is a member of the Illinois Workforce Innovation Board and a co-chair of its Business Engagement Committee. Tom will be presenting on a variety of apprenticeship opportunities and collaboration in DuPage County. Craig Schmidt is the Vice President of Talent Development for the Calumet Area Industrial Commission, which is an apprenticeship intermediary with the state of Illinois. Craig will be speaking about the role of an intermediary and share his organization's experience with apprenticeship programs. Lee Reese is my counterpart in Southern Illinois. He is a regional apprenticeship navigator for the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity for Region 9. Lee's function is to connect employers with workforce resources and job seekers, and will share the apprenticeship initiatives in his region. Lastly, I will be providing an overview of apprenticeship programs in Illinois. As I mentioned earlier, I am the Associate Director of Manufacturing Programs for the Institute for Workforce Education, a division of St. Augustine College, and an apprenticeship navigator for Region 4, for the Department of Economic Development and Opportunities, which provides support for this webinar and other apprenticeship informational initiatives throughout the state of Illinois. As I mentioned earlier, after the presentation, we will have a Q&A session. Participants will be able to make comments or ask questions using the chat function in Zoom during the presentation and the Q&A session. If we do not get to your question or comment, we will contact you after the webinar to provide the information. First, a bit of information about St. Augustine College. St. Augustine College is an accredited, independent, not-for-profit college with 4 locations in Chicago and 1 in Aurora. It offers associate's and bachelor's degrees and is committed to promoting success through education. The Institute for Workforce Education, a division of St. Augustine College, is the leading provider of dual language workforce development services in Illinois. It provides customized on-site training to businesses and not-for-profits and facilitates access to local, state, and federal grants. I will begin the presentation on apprenticeship programs in Illinois with my role as an apprenticeship navigator with the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. The Illinois Apprenticeship Program has been around for 2 years, starting in the Cook County Southland in 2019, now in 2021 in the Economic Development Region 4. As an apprenticeship navigator, I'm available to help you to start an apprenticeship program for free. We serve as a key point of contact and assist partners throughout the process, from concept to implementation. We support existing and foster new partnerships. The objective of the Apprenticeship Navigators is to expand employer and intermediary program sponsorship in existing and non-occupational areas within the region. My co-panelist, Lee Reese, has more on his role of the Apprenticeship Navigator. Craig Smith will expand on the role of intermediaries, which can provide technical assistance and support throughout the whole apprenticeship process. St. Augustine recently partnered with the Chicago Chamber of Commerce as a pre-qualified workforce training provider for the Chamber's Employer Training Investment Program, known as ETIP, which reimbursed 50% of the cost of retraining or upskilling full-time employees at eligible companies and organizations. The ETIP is designed to assist Illinois employers in providing training to full-time employees, thus increasing capacity, building a strong workforce, and creating more of a competitive business climate in Illinois. I'm available to provide more information on this program, which is also funded by DECO. I work as a co-navigator with Kendi Cooler from the Cook County Bureau of Economic Development for the Northeast Economic Development Region 4, which includes the county of Cook, DeKalb, DuPage, Grundy, Kane, Kankakee, Kendall, Lake, and McHenry and Will. For those who are not familiar with apprenticeship programs, apprenticeships in the industry-driven workforce strategy to meet employers' talent needs, to help individuals connect to career pathways for many different occupations. It is a work-based learning model, commonly referred to as learn and earn model, where on-the-job training is combined with relevant classroom instruction. There are various types of apprenticeships, including youth apprenticeships, which are generally paid apprenticeships for high school students, pre-apprenticeships, which serve as a bridge program into apprenticeships, registered apprenticeships, which are vetted through the U.S. Department of Labor, non-registered apprenticeships, which are not registered by the U.S. Department of Labor. Last month, I reported on February 17, 2021, President Biden announced that his administration will emphasize registered apprenticeships and has rescinded former President Trump's executive order creating industry-recognized apprenticeship programs, otherwise known as IRAP. This should help improve the number of overall quality of apprenticeship programs in Illinois and across the nation. The White House argued that IRAP programs have fewer quality standards than registered apprenticeship programs that are overseen by the U.S. Department of Labor. Therefore, this new initiative is said to create nearly 1 million new jobs, opportunities, and generate billions of dollars in benefits for U.S. taxpayers. Here are the key components of a registered apprenticeship. Apprenticeships are jobs. Apprentices earn a competitive wage from their employers during training. Programs provide structured on-the-job learning to prepare for successful careers. Apprentices are provided classroom instruction on critical aspects of their careers. Apprentices receive on-the-job learning under the instruction of an experienced mentor. Apprentices earn a portable and national recognized credential. Here are some key facts about apprenticeships. Apprenticeships can take from between 1 to 5 years. They can be time-based, competency-based, and hybrid. The training and educational delivery, as well as the length of the program, can be customized. Participants can get a credit for previous experience. Assistance is available to plan and implement existing and new apprenticeships. Pre-apprenticeship programs that serve as a bridge to apprenticeship programs. Youth apprenticeships are programs for individuals generally between the ages of 16 and 24 in or out of school. Here are some compelling facts about the registered apprenticeship programs. They have a proven track record of producing strong results for employers and participants. Apprentices have a lifetime earning advantage of over $300,000 versus others in similar situations with no apprenticeship training. Completers earn between $70,000 per year. Employers get a return on investment up to $1.47 for every dollar spent on apprenticeships. And 90% of registered apprentices are employed upon completion of their apprenticeship. Additional benefits to employers: building a pipeline of skilled workers. It's an opportunity to fill challenging vacancies and maintain institutional knowledge. Gain workers with customized skills. Companies have the opportunity to train workers to meet specific standards. Boost retention. Decrease worker turnover. Costs due to fostering a greater loyalty and production. Save money on wages. Since apprentices begin earning between 40 to 50% less to fully trained employees, businesses can save money on wages. Make a positive return on investment. A study found a financial return on investment that averages between $1.47 earned for every dollar spent on the program. And lastly, companies may be eligible for a new apprenticeship education tax credit. It used to be that most apprenticeship programs were focused on the construction and manufacturing, but that's changed. Nowadays, there are apprenticeship programs available across the sectors of economy, including health, information technology, transportation, financial services, hospitality, energy, and communication, other professional sectors. Now I'd like to share a video from School District 214, where we hear about the experience of IT apprenticeship graduate.
Hello, I'm Robert Voss. I'm a previous IT apprentice with District 214. Currently, I'm the cybersecurity supervisor for the district. So my journey from apprentice to employee started with the apprenticeship, taking time and learning under Nick and learning about the district's network, how it works, the programs that they use, the applications, the software, how it all comes together and creates the network as a whole. And so by gaining all that knowledge and insight inside the district, it made me qualified enough to become an employee at the district, since I had all that previous knowledge as an apprentice and learning. Also, knowing Nick and other staff members made it an easy transition to come from an apprentice to an employee. Some lessons I'd like to share that would help apprentices be more successful is that, first of all, you're taking, as an apprentice, you'd be taking classes specified in your course, your area of expertise. So you should take what you're learning in your classes and apply it to your job that you're working right now. Because everything you're learning in the classes and working on as an apprenticeship can be expanded upon inside the apprenticeship, so that you can learn more about your classes. So definitely use what you're learning in your classes and the apprenticeship to gain more knowledge on the subject. And also, I would say go and talk, spend as much time as you can with your supervisors and just kind of shadow them and follow them to see exactly like what their day is like, and just to learn as much as you can.
Here is some information on funding a registered apprenticeship program through the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. The workforce system supports the components of registered apprenticeship programs. On-the-job training or on-the-job learning is funded through the contract. OJT contracts can cover one or multiple apprentices. In some circumstances, reimbursements under WIOA has increased between 50 to 75% for apprenticeships. Related training and instruction under WIOA and all classroom training is funded through the individual training account known as ITAs. In order to take advantage of potential funding, Programs must be in the state's eligible training provider list. Supportive services, tools and childcare. WIOA formulas can fund and utilize and can provide a range of supportive services for individual training accounts related to instructional training. On this slide, I would like to share the following resources, tools, and websites that can be helpful in starting or participating in an existing apprenticeship program in Illinois. The U.S. Department of Labor has a variety of links where you can get a quick start kit toolkit, resources for registered apprenticeship programs, and also an apprenticeship registration site. The two key websites where you can find all the information and links you'll need are apprenticeshipillinois.com and apprenticeship.org. Now, I would like to introduce our next panelist. Cherie Speakman is the co-founder and CEO of Talent First Public Benefit Corp., an Illinois company dedicated to working with employers to expand pathways and opportunities for high school students and working adults. Talent First is committed to supporting the pharmacy sector by working with state navigators, colleges, and employers to expand the use of registered apprentices in health systems. She will be speaking today about a high school pre-apprenticeship program in partnership with Perspectives, Illinois Tech, Math, and Science Academy, located in Bronzeville in the Bronzeville neighborhood in Chicago. Judy Hegley of the American Institute of Apprenticeship will also present on youth apprenticeships after Cherie's presentation. Cherie?
Thank you so much, Lenora. Thank you for letting us be part of this discussion today. And let me, if you move to the next slide, begin with the people that have participated to bring registered apprenticeship for pharmacy technicians to health systems. The Accreditation Council for Pharmacy Education is the nation's accreditor for all colleges of pharmacy in the United States and many that are abroad. And Illinois is a very fortunate state because we have 6 colleges of pharmacy accredited by ACPE, ranging from Rosalind Franklin in North Chicago down to Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville. And the reason this is important is because as we reach out and discuss registered apprenticeship for pharmacy technicians with you, we want you to know that we will help you find all kinds of mentors for mentoring young adults and adult career changers who choose to enter the field. This is a very detailed introduction to the pre-apprenticeship program at Perspectives Math and Science Academy, but I want to point out a couple of highlights before you have a chance to read this when they distribute the presentation. We had an in-person pre-apprenticeship program structured and about to launch last March at Perspectives when the state sent everyone home. And so what we've done over the past 9 months is actually change the program to run remotely 24/7 and introduce pharmacy apprenticeships to prospective students using a 40-hour introduction. And that 40-hour introduction is actually meant to transition from the introductory competencies all the way through to 127 hours that will allow these same students to take the National Pharmacy Technician Certification exam, and on the day after graduation, become licensed to work in the state of Illinois. This is what we want for young people, that we want pre-apprenticeships to lead them to learning that allows them to take a national certification exam and be ready to work the day after graduation if they choose to work, or to move into colleges that are ready to support them on, in this case, pharmacy technicians. The exciting thing about this program is that in the 40 hours, the first 8 hours are entirely self-paced. The last 32 hours are mentored by a registered pharmacist. And this is the reason that we bring up the fact that Illinois is filled with pharmacists, and we would be happy to help you arrange for mentorship. One last thing about why ACPE, Talent First, and IAA got together to do registered apprenticeships in the state of Illinois. Yesterday, there were advertisements for 1,600 open pharmacy technician positions across the state, and we feel that this is a very big opportunity. These next two slides are probably one of the most exciting things we've worked on relative to pre-apprenticeship, and that's helping young people not only understand their interests, but understand their aptitudes. And those of you that are familiar with aptitude testing know that while interests come and go, aptitudes remain pretty much fixed throughout the course of our young adult and adult lifetimes. When you ask students to take a aptitude test, what you actually find is that they learn that they have more talents than they might otherwise think. And the screen in front of you shows that when you survey for interest, you get a limited pool of people. And when you survey for aptitudes, you get many more candidates. And so Perspectives surveys all of its juniors and seniors for aptitudes, and then we help them pick working careers and apprenticeships that actually align to their talents. I want to just tell you quickly how to read this and then ask that you take a closer look at it when you see it on the deck. The first bar is the number of people that were interested in these health sector occupations. And the second bar is the number of people who have aptitudes. And I want you to look at the two bars underneath the picture of the tablet up above. You see that actually very few people have an interest in being a pharmacy technician. We account for that because there's not much conversation about pharmacy careers in the state of Illinois, but you see that many, many more people at Perspectives showed that they had an aptitude for the work. And so the program of pre-apprenticeship at Perspectives allowed us to find the people that had a high aptitude for pharmacy technician work and invite them into the 40-hour pre-apprenticeship program. And we are very excited to tell you that they are benefiting from the mentoring that goes on weekly and the actual coursework that goes on 24/7 in the comfort and privacy of their homes if they're not already in school. So we invite any and all questions, and Julie is going to speak to you now. Lenora, back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Cherie, for the wonderful presentation. Joining us next to co-present on youth apprenticeship is Julianne Hegley. She is an apprenticeship senior subject matter expert at the Institute for American Apprenticeship, which has been involved in non-traditional apprenticeships for nearly 2 decades and works together with the Jobs for Future to promote and expand apprenticeship opportunities for high school students and youth. She will be introducing a youth apprenticeship program at Hypertherm, one of the Institute of American Apprenticeship's employer partners.
Thank you, Lenora. I appreciate it. And good morning, everyone. And I'm so happy to be here and appreciate the opportunity to talk with you a little bit about what I think is a very well-built apprenticeship pipeline. Thank you. So Hypertherm is in the advanced cutting area. So they do plasma cutting, laser cutting, water jet cutting, and they're located in where the high school apprenticeship program is in Hanover, New Hampshire. So Hypertherm has locations all over the world, but I'm going to talk to you about what's happening at Hypertherm in Hanover. So Hanover is a very rural area, and Hypertherm is the second largest employer in this area. And so they have historically, for decades, had issues with staffing and staffing challenges. So we started working with them about 14 years ago to help them address that. And one of the initiatives that I was fortunate to be part of is this Hypertherm Youth Apprenticeship And so what you see on this slide is the youth apprenticeship by entry point. So for a number of years, Hypertherm does a career day, and they've had over 4,000 area high school students come in for a day. But what they found was that it really wasn't yielding the number of new employees that they were hoping to have. Everyone who works on the floor at Hypertherm does go through an apprenticeship program. So it's a 100% participation, even people with experience. So with that as the backdrop, so let's talk really quickly about these entry points. So in the junior year, there's a career exploration program that is not just the one day. So it's 1 day a week for a bulk of time. So students can start coming in at that point. What we're seeing is typically those are people whose parents work at Hypertherm already. They can also do the same thing in the senior year. So that's their career exploration too. In addition, in the summer between the junior and senior year, there's what we call a summer institute. So the high schoolers actually complete a portion of that related instruction and a portion of their OJL. Then post-graduation, they could also come in either through the junior year, through the senior year, or through the summer institute, and then complete their apprenticeship at that point. So what we found is the students who come through are highly likely to join one of those apprenticeship programs. And I'd like to talk a little bit about what we've structured to help them in their career ladder. So in high school, they might get some advanced placement credits. In high school and or during the apprenticeship, they can take CLEP exams or straighter line. But the beauty of this program is that everyone who goes through the apprenticeship program, whether they're a youth or not a youth, can earn up to 41 credits for their machine operator related instruction. And that's at no cost to the apprentice. Imagine that we're really getting close to that associate's degree. To get their associate's degree, they can transfer credits in, they can have advanced placement, they can have those machine operator credits. And then Hypertherm pays for any additional credits that they need to take to complete their degree. So within about a year to a year and a half's time, these youth can actually have an associate's degree that they have not invested in financially. So here's the results that we've seen so far. They've run this program for 2 years in 2018 and 2019. And then because of the pandemic, they did have to pull back. So there was no summer institute last summer, but fortunately, they've gone into a hybrid mode. So we expect to see the youth coming back. I think there'll be 8 or 10 youth coming back. But here's some numbers for you. And I know we're running short on time here, and I'm happy to answer any questions, and you'll have my contact information if you're curious about this program. But what we're really pleased about is that in 2 years' time, 28 people earned their Associate of Science at no cost to them. And so we're really pleased about that. So I'm going to turn it back to Lenora to keep moving on. Thank you again.
Julie, thank you for the wonderful presentation. I'm a manufacturer girl, so I like everything that you're talking about, what you're doing with Hypertherm.
Love it.
Now I'd like to welcome our next presenter. Tom Windolf is a retired business exec and a business owner who has a broad experience as a leader in business and not-for-profits. He is a member of the Illinois Workforce Innovation Board and a co-chair of its Business Engagement Committee. Tom will be presenting on a variety of apprenticeship opportunities and collaborations in DuPage County. Tom, welcome.
Thank you very much, Lenore. I'm so fortunate to be placed after Julie's presentation. The The DuPage program is structured much like the Hypertherm program, but across a broad system. I was a member of the P20 Council Steering Committee, which recommended that career exploration and career experience be included in curricula in high schools. I met with a friend of mine, the director of a regional office of education in DuPage County, and said, well, how in the world are we going to do this in DuPage County, where there are 37 high schools and 132,000 students? That will be quite a challenge. Every student in DuPage County will have access to work-based learning model to inform career decisions that open opportunities for post-secondary success, provide multiple pathways to meaningful careers, and meet the needs of both students and the business community. The goals of this program were to design, build, and execute a regional K-12 school district-driven work-based learning model that will support equity, diversity, and opportunity, critical business sectors and pathways within the county, will provide certifications and credentialing, will offer targeted supports for students, school districts, and employers, and collaborative partnership including financial support for sustainability, and aligned to the state work-based learning and apprenticeship goals. The model is basically to start informing career decisions at the high school level, and then offering choice after high school through apprenticeship, credentialing, registered apprenticeship at the College of DuPage, which is the authorized group that handles registered apprenticeships in DuPage County, or onto associate's degrees and four-year college. So what makes this effort different? It's a regional approach as opposed to an individual school or individual business sector approach. Although we start with manufacturing, our intention is to expand to many other business sectors. The schools and businesses needed additional support to make collaboration successful. They didn't have the skills, and they didn't have the bandwidth necessarily to do this. So we brought in an intermediary called GPS ED, which brings capacity, experience, and resources to bridge the gap between schools and businesses. And then we formed regional partners which provided expertise for sustainability. So who are the partners in this effort? Well, I guess the first was myself. I was an individual, a business person who knew Darlene, the Regional Office of Education, had this problem. How do we provide exploration and experience for students? So we started bringing in individuals. The Regional Office of Education became the lead organization and the financial foundation of this effort. The College of DuPage has an apprenticeship program called Project Higher Ed, which is registered apprenticeship through the DOL. They became a partner. We brought in GPS Education Partners, which had vast experience in moderating the relationships between businesses and education. I was on the DuPage workforce board in DuPage County, and so it was an easy do to bring the workforce board and the DuPage County WorkNet within this realm. And then thirdly, the Technology Manufacturing Association. One of the most critical elements of this particular effort is how do we attract enough businesses to actually do this? We have to get businesses interested in helping themselves provide students that will become their future employees and fill the pipeline of skilled applications. So who is GPS? GPS Partners is a nonprofit that has been delivering workforce-based learning solutions that impact educational system, talent, pipeline needs, and help sustain communities for over 2 decades. They're based out of Wisconsin. This is not a commercial for GPS, but this is a commercial that the importance of having an intermediary. GPS is a leading provider of work-based learning solutions and services. They provide intermediary services, managing the relationship between educators and business partners. And they provide program management, which provides and monitors metrics and tools needed to successfully comply and improve the function of the pathway. It's really important to measure what's going on with the students and to pass that along so that the skills that are maintained are the ones that the businesses need. So the key elements for success, I felt, for the county were to start with the secondary school systems overall, to have a big vision for the entire county. So our initial meeting included 6 principals from high schools, and we decided to proceed with trying to implement this model. We found out that the hardest part was to attract enough businesses, and so we're constantly working on that. We do that through convening roundtables, attending chambers of commerce, contacting business associations, and use school business advisories. And the onboarding and training was really important and is part of what GPS does. They teach the schools and teach the businesses how to bring people into this environment and use youth and pre-apprenticeship programs to develop the people that they need for within their. It looks like this is going to be quite successful. We've started out small with one program in manufacturing. We have 2 schools, 11 students, and 6 business partners currently providing apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeships and youth apprenticeships for the system. Our goal for 2021-22 is to expand to 4 or 5 high schools, perhaps more, have 20, 30, 40 students, have 10 to 15 businesses, and expand into new business sectors, perhaps IT and healthcare. The number of students we can bring into this program is really limited by the number of businesses we can attract, because realistically, a medium-sized business can only handle 1 to 2 apprentices. And so we need to have lots of businesses if we're going to have hundreds of students involved. When the success of this program becomes apparent, we are sure that more and more schools will want to increase and do it. And so we think that the outlook for this program is really, really strong. And we're very proud of what we're doing. Thank you very much. Back to you, Lenore.
Now let's welcome our next presenter. Greg Schmidt is currently the Vice President of Talent Development at the Calumet Area Industrial Commission, which serves as the apprenticeship intermediary for Region 4 in Illinois. He supports the Apprenticeship Expansion Grant from the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity and the U.S. Department of Labor. He is also the chairman of the board for the Chicago Southland Chamber of Commerce. He has been working in the workforce development most of his career and apprenticeship programs for the last 7 years. Craig will present on his role as an apprenticeship intermediary in Region 4. Craig.
Hi, good morning, and thank you, Lenora and St. Augustine for coordinating this presentation and inviting us once again to join and share what the Calumet Area Industrial Commission is doing in relation to apprenticeships and supporting the Chicagoland area. I want to start out with just telling you a little bit about us. We have been in existence since 1967. Next slide, please. We are a non-for-profit, membership-based organization located in the southern tip of the city of Chicago in the Pullman area. Right now, we're right in the hub of the manufacturing industry from metropolitan Chicago to northwest Indiana. Now, over the years, we've expanded to include many of the south suburbs and even moved into Will County, all of which has a huge manufacturing base. We're an industrial advocacy, economic development, business development, workforce development, and community outreach organization, mainly focused on the manufacturing industry. Next slide, please. We provide a number of community services that are funded under the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership, which is funded under the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, also known as WIOA. We provide a number of services from job readiness training to on-the-job training to job placement, and mainly for individuals who are unemployed and underemployed to help them find a sustaining wage and career. The on-the-job training will reimburse the employer 50% of the wages that are paid during the training. So, that's something that can certainly add up. We offer a number of business resources for businesses, from business development incentives to training reimbursement and apprenticeship programs, of what I'm going to talk about today. And certainly a huge value of the Calumet Area Industrial Commission is as our networking events and educational workshops that we hold. So our role as an intermediary, CAIC, as Lenora mentioned, was awarded an apprenticeship expansion grant through the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity / Department of Labor. We are an intermediary as defined by DOL. So what does that mean? It means we are here to provide the linkages between businesses, educational institutions, and the Department of Labor to help get an apprenticeship program started or help reignite one. As you've heard, there are various types of apprenticeships, and we can certainly walk you through that process. As an intermediary, we promote apprenticeships along with the navigators, such as St. Augustine College, and we can help you be a sponsor and manage your program, and we provide that support to apprentices along the way. We certainly play that consultant role. And what does that mean with this grant? This grant right now pays the education or the tuition of one in a registered apprenticeship program, meaning for the first year of education for an apprentice, CAIC will pick up that cost, whether it's tuition at a community college or another training provider, or if you have your own trainer or bring someone in to do the training, we will offset that cost. It could be new or current employees. Some companies use apprenticeships as an onboarding tool, meaning they start out from day one as an apprentice, and others focus on the incumbent or the current workforce, training them for the specific jobs and occupations. These apprentices also assist in, these apprenticeships also assist workers in getting that journeyman card and assist companies in their retention efforts, as Lenora had mentioned earlier. Next slide, please. A little bit on the job training program through the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership. I mean, as you can see, the grant will pay the employer 50% or reimburse them of the first 6 months of wages for training. And then you can see some of the requirements that are needed in terms of being a permanent hire and not a temporary worker, and a certain, a minimum wage and some other criteria there. And CAIC can also assist in finding new workers for you. So as you can see, a lot of great programs, and really this is just the beginning. You will soon be hearing more from us, the Calumet Area Industrial Commission, regarding another grant award that we've received from the U.S. Department of Labor. We've received $8.9 million to train 1,100 individuals in a manufacturing career over the next 4 years. So we'll be working with 10 community colleges in the Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana area. So you'll hear more to come on that. Next slide, please. I believe is my contact information. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always open and willing to have a conversation about apprenticeships. It's something I've lived for quite some time now. And so Lenora, I'm going to turn this back over to you.
Thank you, Craig. Wonderful presentation and always a great partner to have in the room. Our next panelist is Lee Reese. Lee is the Regional Apprenticeship Navigator for the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity for Region 9 that consists of Bond, Calhoun, Clinton, Jersey, Madison, Monroe, Randolph, St. Clair, and Washington counties. Lee's function is to connect employers with workforce resources and job seekers. He is a recent graduate of the Talent Pipeline Management Academy, put on by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation in Washington, D.C. He is an adjunct instructor with Southwestern Illinois College, teaching career pathways and intro-level computer classes. Lee will present on apprenticeship initiatives in his region. Lee, welcome.
Appreciate that introduction, and glad to be with you, and appreciate the opportunity to discuss apprenticeships in our region. So we're Economic Development Region number 9 Consortium, and we make up 2 LWIAs, Local Workforce Investment Areas, LWIA 22 and 24. Lenora went over the counties. What we do is we work to tie our efforts together with local, regional, and state economic development efforts. Our goal is to provide the best trained and educated workforce possible. In doing this, we attack it in several ways. We use apprenticeships, we use talent pipeline management concepts and strategies, and we also use Workforce Opportunity Act services and funding. So we have had one apprenticeship that we've completed, and it's in the medical field, and it's certified medical assistant. We had 12 started, 9 completed. On the next few slides, you'll see demographics, and I'll put those there so you could see, I'll tie it in at the end. Ongoing apprenticeships, we have machine building, machinist, and welder working with a company called TerraSource Global. 14 started, 12 are ongoing. They have plans to increase up to 40 more. They actually use a talent pipeline management strategy that we help them develop, where they use paid internships that they're developing from regional high schools. After the apprenticeship and they graduate high school, they're bringing them on board as paid apprentices. This model is catching on and expanding in our region. We have industrial maintenance technician apprentices with a company called Anlin Nashville in Nashville, Illinois. They make automobile injection molding parts. We have a teacher aide, community development, sustainable solutions in East St. Louis. This particular apprenticeship is kind of near and dear because what they're doing is they're taking individuals in the District 189 East St. Louis High School. They're taking parents of children in that district. They're putting them in a 3-year teacher aide registered apprenticeship. At the end of the apprenticeship, they'll go into 189 as an employee, and they'll be offered an opportunity to use the Department of Labor loan forgiveness if they go on and get their teaching credential and stay in that district for up to 5 years. They have 11 ongoing now, and they're recruiting for 24 to 40 more. We have an aviation maintenance technician with Westar Aviation. They had 2 that have started and 2 that are ongoing. We have a tool and die maker with a company called AAA Tool and Die Making. They have 1 started and still ongoing. Anticipated apprenticeships. For anticipated apprenticeships, we classify those as those that have had their standards approved, and we're in phase 3, which is I have 4 phases of my apprenticeship. Phase 1 is the interest and discussion phase. Phase 2 would be developing and designing the apprenticeship. Phase 3 would be implementation. Phase 4 would be implementation and support. So our anticipated apprenticeships are in phase 3. We have one with a company called Mr. Appliance for large appliance repair. Right now, we're in the process of recruiting for that. He's a veteran-owned business, and he wants to recruit veterans for this. We're working with a food manufacturing company called Gilster Mary Lee to develop CDL truck driving for anticipated, and we're in the process of recruiting for that. We're in the process of working with several medical entities to develop more certified medical assistant cohorts. Right now, we have 3 that have decided to partner together. They're going to do incumbent worker apprenticeships, and they've decided that they are willing to develop their cohorts in conjunction with each other, which is very rare in the medical field. We're working with a food manufacturing company called ConAgra Foods. They're looking to develop 6 industrial maintenance techs, maybe 8. We're looking to start in the summer. And we had a project with Straight Up Solar and one of our local community colleges that has a youth build program to develop some solar installation technicians. But that program was put on hold by the new administration while they decide where they're going to move green energy. There's a possibility they're going to move green energy under construction trades. So in our area, we like to use some talent pipeline management strategies where we work with the secondary education entities, the post-secondary education entities, and the employers to develop talent pipeline. We like to use dual credit and try to get them into the existing workforce as paid interns and then on to paid apprenticeships. And that model seems to be working pretty good. It gives the employer the opportunity to test drive before they commit to their talent. And so here's my contact information. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Appreciate the opportunity to present to you, and excited about what Illinois is doing around the registered apprenticeships. Back to you, Lenora.
Thanks, Lee. Always a pleasure having you, and always a pleasure to talk to you about different parts of Illinois and what we're doing excitingly with apprenticeship programs. As I mentioned earlier, we will now have the Q&A session. Participants can make comments or ask questions using the chat function in Zoom. If we do not get to your question or comment, we will contact you after the webinar to provide information. Now, this question comes from one of our participants today, and I'm really going to direct this question to our folks that are currently doing youth apprenticeship programs. If you want to start a youth apprenticeship program, where do I get started?
So youth apprenticeship programs could be high school programs, but they could also be programs that are targeted toward that 16 to 24 year age group. So it depends upon whether you want to work with a high school or you just want to target that age group. You know, with an apprenticeship, you always have to have an employer. So if I'm not sure if that question came from an employer, but you really need to bring the employer and whoever's going to support that instruction to the table. So at Hypertherm, we literally brought a ton of people around the table from high school superintendents, other employers. So Fujifilm came in as well. And coaches, mentors, we brought in people from the workforce area. So, I would suggest starting with a nice big old Zoom meeting and, invite people from all those aspects that can help support your program, and even some parents, that would be a good idea as well.
Thank you very much. I also have a question, and this is actually going to be, how can we get all of the cost of an apprenticeship program funded? And this could be directed at Lee and Craig.
Well, there's multiple ways that you can approach the funding. You can use braided funding, in which you use the apprenticeship expansion grant money to cover the related training instruction. And then if the individual is WIOA eligible, or it's an incumbent worker program that qualifies, you could use the local WIOA Workforce Investment Board's money to pay up to 50 to 75% of the first 6 months of salary. I don't know that you can fund it completely outside of business involvement. It does take some business skin in the game to do an apprenticeship, but the return on investments are huge and multiple.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Lee, that braided funding in that way, especially with OJT. Calumet Area Industrial Commission, our grant dollars will support the educational piece to help get the program going, but it is expected that the employer would pick up the cost after that first year and to keep it going. One of the things I would recommend is, if you as a company have a tuition reimbursement policy, that you look at that and see if you can turn that on the front end to move that into where you're paying for the education more on the front end versus as a reimbursement, and use that as your funding to keep the apprenticeship program going.
Thank you, Craig and Lee. Appreciate that question. Now, Craig, this is a special question for you. Does the Calumet Area Industrial Commission provide support and funding outside of Chicago?
So yes, the answer would be yes to that. Well, when you say outside of Chicago, with our apprenticeship expansion grant, we can certainly go on the outer limits of Chicago. We do try to stay within, the Chicagoland counties. I will say, with our new H-1B grant, the focus will be Porter and Lake counties in Indiana, Cook County, Kankakee, Grundy, Kendall. I'm missing one, Kane counties as well. So we do stay mostly in the northern section.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Craig. Now I have a question here. Can you explain again the difference between a registered apprenticeship program and a non-apprenticeship program? And I'm just going to open this big question up for everybody on the panel. From my perspective, a registered apprenticeship program is registered with the U.S. Department of Labor. It is a more structured program with hours that you are going to work with your employer with a sort of up to 1,000 hours or so. Am I correct, Craig, in saying that?
That is correct. A registered apprenticeship program is registered with the Department of Labor. Individuals are registered into their system, and then they are able to earn that journeyman's card after they complete. So, there's a number of, program or companies out there that use non-registered, and what they follow is an apprenticeship program, and is very easily to be able to get that registered. And one thing you have to keep in mind, this isn't an investment, or this is a change in the way a company either hires or promotes individuals up through their company, because you're training for an occupation, and you're training them to be an expert in that occupation. And so, it's an investment on the employer's part in the employee, and an investment on the employee to go to classes and learn. So it's really a nice retention effort with apprenticeship programs.
Thank you, Craig. You know what? I wanted to ask Tom. I know Tom has been working with many employers out there in DuPage, working with youth apprenticeship programs. I wanted to get his perspective on, non-apprenticeship programs out in his area in DuPage.
I think not every business sector is applicable directly to formal apprenticeship program. Sometimes internships and work-based learning don't necessarily have to be apprenticeships. And so we called our collaborative a work-based learning collaborative as opposed to apprenticeship collaborative to give us the flexibility to offer student exploration and student experience in businesses that may not be prepared to foot the cost of a formal apprenticeship program, but it's still valuable experience for the students. And so that's
Thank you,
kind of how
Tyler. I
we look at it.
appreciate that. I have a question. Do you have any upcoming events providing information on how you can assist employers that may be interested in starting an apprenticeship program? And that's a yes. We do have upcoming events. We will be having one next month. Can you provide links that we can share with employers with more about this, a PDF with materials? Yes. St. Augustine will be sending out the PowerPoint presentation to participants today, as well as with the links for IllinoisApprenticeship.com and apprenticeship.org as well. We have a question. What privacy concerns will high school districts have to consider when exploring healthcare and related apprenticeship programs? Lee and Julie, do you mind answering this question?
Sure, I can take that. A lot of positions in healthcare, at least in this part of the country, require that you're 18 in order to participate. But they do have other work-based learning experiences. So everyone would go through the same HIPAA training or the same privacy training. So it's really incumbent on the employer or the internship sponsor to make sure that all of the individuals have the proper training and are properly supervised.
Thank you, Julie.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate that. Guys, we're running on time. We just hit 11 o'clock and this concludes our webinar. My contact information is on the screen for everybody who needs further information or assistance in setting up or supporting an apprenticeship or pre-apprenticeship program. I'm also available to meet, whether in person or virtually, to discuss apprenticeship opportunities and needs that your company may have. Please note that we will hold additional monthly apprenticeship webinars from April to June of 2021. You can check out our website at iwetraining.com for our webinar schedule, which we'll post in the next couple of days. Again, a big thanks to our panelists, participants, and please have a wonderful holiday weekend and day.